No, I feel a champion no matter what. You know, I win no matter what, and I still feel the champion. So
These judges throw them in jail if they don't give it to him right now, because he won. And when I watched it, I felt he won too.
Canelo Alvarez throws tantrum after losing to Terence Crawford. Instead of accepting defeat, Canelo erupted, accusing the judges of fixing the fight in Crawford's favor. But let's be real, those scorecards reflected dominance. His meltdown wasn't about robbery, it was frustration at being outclassed by a superior fighter.
I think that if you guys fought again, if you fought now, and he was also in his prime, do you think the outcome would have been vastly different?
definitely it's gonna be different. No, because I'm more mature, more strong, with more experience. Definitely it's gonna be different.
Canelo's words thunder with defiance, but the truth cuts sharper. No rematch, no prime version of him erases what Crawford exposed. Maturity and strength mean little when the skill gap is this wide. Crawford already proved he's operating on a higher level, and Canelo's excuses only highlight that painful reality.
Now, what's the goal? It's changed a little bit.
You know, I try, but he started asking for other things and this and that and make everything hard for me. And then, you know, I think the best.
And even promoter Eddie Hearn weighed in, calling the fight far too close for comfort. Eddie Hearn throws in the word robbery, but let's be honest, there was no theft here. Crawford dictated the fight, and the judges simply recognized it. Calling it too close feels like a polite way of cushioning Canelo's pride, but the truth is, he was second best all night.
The reality is can the state call for an immediate rematch? I don't believe they can, the commission. It's really up to the governing body. I mean, you know, the commission can overturn a decision or rule on a decision, but can they order a rematch? That really has to come from...
And Hearn didn't stop there. He doubled down with more thoughts from ringside. Hearn insists he's neutral, yet still leans on the very close fight narrative. But anyone who watched knows Crawford was in control. Timing, accuracy, ring IQ. Canelo had moments, yes, but moments don't win championships. Dominance does. And that's exactly what Crawford delivered.
Tonight, just my opinion, I've got no horse in the race. It's like there's no agenda for me. I'm just telling you what I saw and felt at ringside, which was a very close fight.
Duke McKenzie sets the record straight. The judges weren't inventing scores, they were reflecting reality. With 3 of the best in the business ringside, there's no conspiracy. 2 out of 3 saw exactly what we all did. Crawford's control, his precision, and his unquestionable victory over a frustrated Canelo.
B, we're talking about the ringside judges. They don't make things up, you know. They allegedly got the best of the best to referee and to judge that fight. So 3 judges, one can't get it wrong, one could possibly get it wrong, but the other 2 didn't. And
no sugarcoating here. McKenzie delivers the hard truth. When you lose, you accept it and move forward. Canelo's tantrum only showed weakness, not greatness. Crawford had his number, plain and simple. Instead of crying robbery, Alvarez should have swallowed pride and acknowledged the better man on the night.
Losing in a fight, never mind a world title fight, when you're losing a fight, full stop, you know, the best thing to do is to dry your tears and crack on. You know, you got to man up. Sometimes somebody just got your number.
Johnny Nelson cuts deep into the heart of Canelo's reaction. This wasn't just a loss, it was a direct blow to his pride. The Mexican star, who built a career on dominance and intimidation, was humbled in a way he didn't expect. Crawford stripped away the aura and exposed him as vulnerable. Pride is a fighter's armor, but once it's cracked, it reveals fragility underneath. Canelo's tantrum wasn't about the judges, it was about protecting an image he could feel slipping away. Nelson highlights that more than the punches. It was the humiliation of being second best that left its mark. This isn't just a dent in the record, it's a dent in Canelo's legacy.
Yesterday he said, I don't want to have egg on my face, I've got to get a job done here. So after the things he said the last time, he knows he probably mugged himself off. I think that probably hurt him more than anything, hurt his pride.
And while Canelo wrestled with pride, Claressa Shields reminded fans she always believed Crawford would rise to the moment. Claressa Shields speaks with conviction. She knew Crawford had what it takes to shock the world. Despite the hype surrounding Canelo, she never bought into the myth that Alvarez was untouchable. Shields draws a powerful parallel. She's been undisputed. She knows what true greatness requires, and she recognized it in Crawford. That blend of composure, versatility, and willpower was always going to be too much for Canelo. Shields' nervous excitement reflects what many fans felt, anticipation of history being made. And when the dust settled, she was vindicated. Crawford's victory wasn't luck, it was inevitable. Those who underestimated him simply ignored the signs. Shields' faith reminds us real champions spot greatness before it's obvious to the rest.
Man, I knew it already. I had been testing him.
Sean Porter dismantles the excuse factory. Size and weight were never Crawford's problems. From day one, he insisted that skill beats mass, and the fight proved him right. Crawford's reach, timing, and tactical awareness turned what many painted as a disadvantage into a clear edge. Porter highlights how narratives shift only when the evidence becomes undeniable. Suddenly, pundits notice Crawford's natural size and his strength at 168. But that's the beauty of elite preparation. Crawford didn't just show up heavier, he showed up smarter. His conditioning and strategy neutralized Canelo's power. This wasn't about pounds on a scale, it was about brains over brawn. Porter's words echo loud. Stop leaning on excuses. The better fighter won, period.
Everyone, the weight is not a problem, the size, stop talking about it. It takes you guys waiting until you see weigh-in day and the day before the weigh-in, and somehow you're now seeing that he's an inch or two taller than Canelo, and somehow now you're considering his reach, and somehow now you're considering, oh, he weighed in at 165, and you know, oh, he's been hitting the weights like Sean said. Yeah. The weight's not an issue. The reason why the weight's not an issue is because most welterweights are middleweights that cut down to welterweight.
When a veteran like Teddy Atlas speaks, the boxing world listens. With 5 decades of experience, Atlas has seen every type of fight, every controversy, and every upset imaginable. His words cut straight through the noise. Crawford's dominance should have been beyond question, yet some judges still scored it far too close. That's not a reflection of the fight itself, but of the sport's persistent blind spot, poor judging. Atlas warns us that if Crawford hadn't been so clinical, if he hadn't tightened the screws and taken control, fans might have been robbed of the truth, and that's exactly why Atlas wants no rematch. Not because it wouldn't sell, not because Canelo isn't still a big name, but because it's unnecessary. The gulf between them has already been exposed. Atlas recognizes what Alvarez refuses to admit. Crawford's performance left nothing unresolved. A second fight would only recycle excuses, not answers.
For me, the thing that bothered me, there's only one thing that really did bother me, and that's why I don't want a rematch, I'll be honest. I've been in this business 50 years, too long to fool myself. Those judges should be really, they got to look in the mirror to have it that close. There's no way it was that close. Thank God he dominated. Because otherwise we might be here talking a whole different thing and really going nuts, and I would definitely break this thing.
Yes, you would. I believe you.
And maybe that. And I'd owe money. And I couldn't care. I would pay it.
And then Carl Froch stepped forward, laying out what the rematch might actually mean for Crawford's career. Carl Froch makes a pragmatic point. Crawford has climbed into the super middleweight division, and now the options are limited. Beyond Canelo, there are no household names that offer the same spotlight or financial lure. Froch isn't suggesting the rematch because Canelo deserves redemption, but because boxing as a business thrives on big spectacles. Crawford has cleaned out divisions before, and Froch knows he doesn't duck challenges. The problem, Canelo is still the cash cow, the marquee name that draws attention regardless of defeat. Froch hints at young contenders like Hamza Shiraz, but the reality is, Crawford's biggest stage remains tied to Alvarez. From Froch's view, this rematch is less about settling scores and more about sustaining momentum at 168, and yet fans know Crawford doesn't need to prove anything. He already cracked the so-called king of the division. The rematch isn't a necessity, it's a financial inevitability.
So it's like the only sensible option or the only real option is the rematch. And that's the same for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's now 168 pounds. Who does he fight? Who does he go for next? It's difficult. The kind of There's no other real big names. I mean, there's a kid in England called Hamza Shiraz who's tapping on the door for something big, and
Oscar De La Hoya's reaction was raw, emotional, and straight to the point. He had warned everyone that Crawford would come out on top. For weeks, the narrative revolved around Canelo's power, his resume, and his dominance at 168, but De La Hoya saw through the noise. His words carry weight not just because of his Hall of Fame pedigree, but because he understands the psychology of fighters at the highest level. He recognized Crawford's hunger, his ability to adapt, and his refusal to be overwhelmed by the occasion. For Oscar, this wasn't an upset. It was the natural outcome of skill beating size and willpower beating reputation. His sharp "I told you so" wasn't arrogance, but vindication. Crawford had been underestimated for too long, and De La Hoya's passion underlined what many analysts were too cautious to say. Alvarez was outboxed, outfought, and outshone. The king had been dethroned.
I told you, motherfuckers. What did you just watch? I only speak the facts.
Jaio Patea nails it. Crawford's greatness lies in his adaptability. This wasn't just about one game plan executed well, it was about shifting gears mid-fight, reading Canelo's patterns, and dismantling him piece by piece. Opatea praises the science behind Crawford's style, switching stances seamlessly, controlling range, and neutralizing his opponent's strengths. That's what separates the good from the truly great. Crawford's ammunition wasn't just his power or speed, it was his mind. The ability to outthink as much as outpunch. For a fighter like Opatea, who understands the demands of elite competition, this performance was textbook excellence. His scorecard had Crawford comfortably ahead, reflecting what most honest observers saw. Canelo wasn't just beaten, he was solved, his rhythm disrupted, his timing broken, his pride dismantled. Opatea's respect adds weight to the verdict. Crawford is a complete fighter, and his adaptability is the weapon no opponent has figured out.
I know it. On points, bro, crazy.
How did you have it?
I had him up, bro, convincingly. Awesome fight. Awesome. Hey, science of the sport. This guy adapts. I knew it.
How did you know he was going to win? Why?
He's got too much ammunition. You know, southpaw, orthodox, on the back foot. That's what changes good from great, is knowing how to adapt. You know, back foot, front foot, that's the difference.
This fight wasn't just about belts, it was about legacy. Crawford walked into hostile territory, silenced the doubters, and dismantled the aura of Canelo Alvarez. For Crawford, the victory cements him as the pound-for-pound king. The fighter who proves size and reputation mean nothing against pure skill. For Canelo, the loss raises uncomfortable questions. Is his era of dominance over, or does he still have the fire to reclaim glory? A rematch would bring money, but would it bring answers, or just another showcase of Crawford's brilliance? Fans now stand at a crossroads. Are we witnessing the rise of boxing's true generational great, or could Canelo somehow pull off the upset of his career? What do you think? Crawford's reign continues, or Canelo shocks the world? Drop your thoughts below.